if you don't talk to your guru, when you're doing these packages, does anybody have a problem like really getting information from their guru that they're trying to write a package out? Because if that person is not available every day in this process, find somebody else. I mean, they need to be invested in this. How do you, so trying to get a feel for folks here. How do people do idea generation? Is there anyone that wants to, do you get a bunch of people in the room and you say, hey, we got to come up with an idea for something, and we're going to do a webinar, what's it going to be, that sort of thing? Or because I would tell you, in our company, we have a lot of people who are just looking and involved and curious. We're reading what our gurus write every day. We're reading the next thing. I will call one of our top people up and I'll say, explain to me how this simple thing works. It's the kind of question that your junior introductory, I want to hear what they tell me. And I may not know because I am not a financial expert. I want to understand as deeply as I can. And I think they're really kind to me at times. They might. All right, it's kind of simple stuff. Yeah, but let me explain this to you. And you know what? You start talking, you're involved, you're reading, something interesting happens. When you're looking for a copy idea, you don't have to go searching for it. You know what? You find it. It's a completely different process. You don't have to search for an idea. If you're involved, if you love this stuff, you simply find the idea. You go, that's a good idea. And if you know how a package is put together, you go, oh, I really like that idea now. But I would challenge everyone to work on this. The biggest impact on your business is going to be with copy. So there's something that I call when you're working with copywriters, a copy perception. And there's something funny that happens when you start working with copywriters or you're trying to write copy. A normal person that is rational and interesting and reasonable will write something so completely absurd that if anyone ever walked up to you and said these words, you would think they were crazy and you would say, ooh, get away from me right now. So what happens when we put on that copywriting hat? We start to do really weird things. So I'm always intrigued when a copywriter writes something that is so weird that that person thinks is perfectly natural, and I read it and go, this is really creepy. Like, no one would ever say this to me. If this person started talking to me in a bar and saying exactly what they're saying, I would say, ooh, can you please get away from me, right? So what happens in that perception, right? Your perception should be pretty normal. Like, this is what I do. Like, this makes sense, and I have some desire, and it's not completely absurd. Does anybody ever have that experience? You just start reading and go, like, who would write this? Who would believe this, right? Well, because they put the copywriter hat on, and now I've got to like, oh, I've been reading a lot of packages, and I'm going to make it sound like all the other packages I've been reading that are really stupid, right? This is exactly what happens. I can guarantee it. How many people do track record packages? Anybody ever done track record packages? I know, don't raise your hand, so embarrassing. Yes, So track record packages, did they ever really work for you? Track record package ever really work? Oh, this guy has 37 gains in a row. Basically, it doesn't work. I mean, it kind of works. We don't usually go there with track record packages, and the reason is there's a very simple concept behind this. And I was just talking with Josh Hawes about this a few minutes ago. If something has happened in the past, it's in the past. And you're going to get a few people whose brain cells are going to go like, oh, wow, yeah, maybe let me think about that. That's kind of cool. Maybe I'll think about buying this. But you know what? Your guru, your guy, whatever it is, could have made people $1 million yesterday. But it's yesterday. You know what excites people's brain cells? Tomorrow, right? It doesn't matter how good the track record is. When you put it up front, it kind of kills the package. There are exceptions. You can do things with track record that look like track record, but really are not track record. We do this all the time. We might do a celebration package around a track record. It still has tomorrow in it. You just cannot get people excited about yesterday. So why do people spend all this time worried about, track record and worry? Well, there is a reason, because there is a part in a package where we become rational, and that's in the close, right? You're going to rationalize the close. You do that with track record. Only because it's proving what I'm going to tell you tomorrow has happened before. It's a very, very simple process. So, and that's my view of that. So there. When you're creating a package, how much time do you spend on the persona, the person, the character, who this person is? If it's not interesting, it just is not going to work out very well. I mean, Joel spent some time talking about the humanness of this. Selling is a one-to-one proposition, and you start to look at this copy as a very broad kind of communication. It's a one-to-one human interaction, right? And it always is. When you are looking at copy, and I'm saying for people who are evaluating copy, you got to get a sense that they are talking to you and that this person is interesting. Now, we've made, $40 million just on creating personas in packages, right? I mean, just on creating a persona. And if you have somebody who's really boring, just create it and get somebody that'll go with you. But that persona of somebody interesting is worth so much. Joel and I were talking yesterday, and we were having this discussion. When you get into things like track record, performance, and all that, that's like number 4 on the list of why people buy or stay with you in a product. It's not even number 1. It's about who they are. What is their belief system? What do I believe in? Who am I? Right? That's the thing. Those things count so much more when you're looking at this copy and you're trying to get something that actually works. When you're looking at these packages, again, this is one of the things I see a lot. Don't ever telegraph what's coming next in the package. You're going to see some folks who are going to say, there's 3 reasons why you need to buy my product. There's 3 ways that this thing this strategy can work the way it does and make you a lot of money. Don't tell people there are 3. Don't tell them there are 4. Just surprise them with number 2. Surprise them with number 3. Surprise them with number 6. Surprise them with number 7. But don't tell them. The next one is always a surprise. Make it interesting. Make it a surprise. Make it something they haven't heard before. And once you telegraph, again, I know what's coming. Once I know what's coming, I can make a decision to keep reading, listening, hearing, viewing, or not, right? You give them the option, which takes me to my next rule of copywriting that I see happen all the time. I see a lot of copy that creates a polarizing moment. Now, a lot of people think of polarizing as, it's polarizing, it's like negative or something like that, and that's not what I mean here at all. If you have, we have a short product coming up right now we're writing copy for. If I go and say, hey, would you be interested in making a lot of money shorting stocks? That's a polarizing moment. You know why? The answer could be yes or no, right? Do not give people an option of deciding whether they like or want this in the first 10 pages. It sounds ridiculous, but you will not believe how much copy comes through like this. It's polarizing, meaning I can go left, you allow me to go left or right. You allow me to like it or not like it. You're going to lose a lot of people there. It's a polarizing moment. Hey, you want to make a lot of money shorting stocks, doing put options? Not really. Yeah. And it can be a lot more subtle than that too, right? I mean, but you have to say, is this something that allows me to create a polarity that allows somebody to say no? And you can look for this and you can, if you can, get rid of it. Don't draw conclusions in copy. And again, you're evaluating copy. You're looking at this all the time. How are we raised in life? We're raised to write a paragraph. Remember how they told us to write a paragraph? You start with a thesis sentence, you put your facts and examples and details. At the very end of it, you draw a conclusion, right? That's the conclusion, it's the generality. You know, you don't have to do that in copy. In fact, go ahead and write it. But at the end, get rid of it. You don't have to say to people, it's obviously, if you're not in the close, it's obvious why you should buy this. It's obvious this will make you a lot of money. Or thus, you say thus, that's the first thing. Thus, you will make a lot of money and this will be very beneficial to you. No matter how tempting it is to sum it up, just cut it from the copy. It doesn't work. Take them right up to the conclusion, but don't give them the conclusion. It works 10 times better whenever you can do that. So this is another heady thing to get around. It may be a little tougher to get. But you have to remember this. The goal of copy, when you're reading it, when you're trying to figure it out, is to make people stop thinking. It's not to make them think. It's not to challenge them. It's to get them to stop thinking. Can I make you stop thinking? And how am I going to do that? You know why? People evaluate and they think all day long. When you can take them to a place that allows them to not think, it is such a relief. Whenever you get a chance to stop thinking for a moment, it's an amazing relief. They will go with you. My goal is not to challenge you. My goal with every bit of copy, every line of it, is to allow you to stop evaluating, to stop thinking and just go somewhere with me. If you're going to challenge them, if you're going to give them an idea, if you're going to give them a fact that makes them think about it, just cut it. Don't go there. There's a place for it, but it's definitely not up front. How do you do that? Tell your copywriter to do that. That's where you want to be. And it doesn't matter what you're selling. This is just part of the process. I've got a few more here. How many people have said, why don't we put a story lead on that? I'm going to embarrass somebody here today. But how many people said, well, I want a story. I want a story for this lead. Or there's a story for this product, or somewhere there's a story in there. And somebody said, okay, I could write a story around this. I talked to the guru, and I'm going to tell you all about this guy's life, and it might go this way, and it might go that way. And he did this, and he did that, and then he woke up on Sunday, and then this happened and that happened. I see this, right, because people don't understand. That is not a story. A recitation of events in a package is not a story. A story has a structure. A story has a form to it. It goes somewhere, it means something, it leads you to a sale. It's not a recitation of things that happen like a book report. So what is the structure of a story? A story works like this. There's a basic structure that you use whenever you're doing something. I call it the dip. Other people call it different things. And it kind of goes like this. It's a dip because everything is going along, hits bottom, something happens, comes up, goes higher, and life gets really good. So, I was, just the other day, actually last year, it was kind of amazing. I started to get this thing on my hand. It was like a little red, scaly thing, and it kept getting big, and I went to the doctor, and they had no idea what it was. Pretty soon, it was like all over my arm. Within 2 months, my entire body was covered with this thing. Nobody knew what it was, but I couldn't go out and sell anymore. I couldn't go to work. Nobody would look at me. I'm a salesman. What am I going to do, right? I lost my home. I couldn't make money. My wife left me. My kids won't talk to me. She's married to somebody really cool now. I went out on the street. I ended up homeless until I found grapeseed extract. But not any grapeseed extract. This is grapeseed extract only from grapes grown in the Loire Valley between France and Germany, and they only grow for 3 weeks out of the year. Now, I take this extract. I started taking this, and something amazing happened. Everything in my body cleared up, like almost immediately. But you know what? Something else happened. It actually made me smarter than I've ever been in my life. So I got into trading stuff, and all of a sudden, I'm the best trader that ever happened. And not only did everything clear up, but now I have more money trading on my own than I could ever imagine having had in my entire life. I've attracted so many beautiful women that I married somebody 10 years younger than me that is so hot. It's amazing. Now I have millions of dollars, 3 Bentleys. Do you want to know more? That's a story. That's how you tell a story. So if you're not doing something that takes me somewhere in this package on a story, don't use it, right? Because it has to actually do something for you. Okay, a couple other random questions. Has anybody ever tried to fix a promo that didn't quite work? Who has not tried to fix a promo that didn't work that you thought was going to be absolutely fantastic? Everyone has done it. It's impossible. Don't do it. Just let it go, for Christ's sake. The idea didn't work. We have spent more time every year trying to fix a mediocre promo that just didn't make it. Yes. If a promo starts to expire, right, it's done really well, you have some options, right? You go back to your metrics, and you got a couple options. If you're not getting clicks, you can fix that. We look at something and say, well, it's not getting clicks. This is fantastic. It's the best news I've had all day. It's not getting the clicks I want. This is beautiful. I can fix that. People are going to the order form, and they're not buying. The engagement's great. I'm getting the clicks. We are hilariously, we are giddy with happiness when that happens. You know why? We can fix that. No one is engaged with the promo. We can't fix that. It's just done. So if it's not working, the engagement's down, you know, it's time to move on. Other things you can fix them rather quickly. I mean, we've had front ends that we thought were dead. We looked at the order form copy. I spent a week writing them. Jed, our copy chief, spent a week rewriting the order forms. You know what? It came back. We got 30,000 more subs out of that order. See, when I talk about leverage, this is your leverage point. This is the biggest leverage point you have. If you're not looking at copy, if you're not involved with it, and if you're relying on somebody else to do it all the time, if you don't know how to give them direction, figure it out. Work with it. Write something. This is where the money's at, and you know we can prove that. How many? Let me ask you a question. How many? And you don't have to actually tell me, but. I've seen a lot of situations where, you know, I'll be talking with a publisher and they say, we're going to hire this great copywriter. I got this product I want to do. We want to revisit this product. We want to relive it. And they bring the copywriter and they go like, we got this great product. Look at the track record. You want to write the package? And the person goes, yeah, all right, I'll write the package on that. And they go, great, thanks. Come back in a month and let me see what you have. That's failure, right? You know, the idea that you can just hire a guy or gal to go out and do all your work for you it's not feasible. I don't think that we have ever brought an outside copywriter in and we just said, here's a product, go figure it out, right? It's just, you know, I mean, you might make it work, but it's not very likely. If you don't have an idea, we start with a very simple premise. Every package we have starts, or at least I start with a very simple idea. How am I going to sell this? It's a very simple question. And the answer to that question will lead you down a path of coming up with a concept, right, of how I'm going to sell that. If you look at it and you say, I really don't have much to sell here other than the track record, then you got to go figure it out, you know, because it's very tough. How many people have ever had a promo, it did okay, but it really didn't, maybe it's a back end, you know, you do a couple $1 million on it, it's just really not hitting it here. What do you do with that? I can tell you what we do with it. We just raise the price, right? Because people are going to buy it anyway. The people are going to buy it are going to buy it. You might as well just get more money out of them. You're not going to fix it. Raise the price. Do what you can do. Grab some more money, and then, you know, get on with it. The final thing I have is the biggest challenge that we have is, and I think some folks alluded to this, is how much money can I spend on an acquisition project, right? This is the absolute toughest question in our business. How much money can I spend? You don't know. Too many people I talk to don't know how much you can spend on that. And there are some, there's some good models, and you're seeing experiences up here. It's the toughest question in financial publishing. Acquisitions, if you really don't know your LTV, if you really don't have back end lined up with that, you don't know how much you can spend. It's just a very tough question. We raise this question every single day. Chuck, how much are we spending right now? What do I have coming up? How do we think that's going to pay off? We've got something coming out right now that we're paying off $450 a person. We can spend, and then that's within 3-4 months. We can go pretty deep on that acquisition, right, at $450 LTV, and then LTV is like in the first 5 months, 4 months right now. We can go pretty deep on that. That gives me a lot of information to bring in, and we can be very profitable. But again, it all comes back to copy. So my message is, I love copy. I love working with it. It's all about ideas. It's coming up with an idea. It's generating an idea. We are in the idea business. Ideas are what sell. Technique is fantastic. Couldn't live without it. When we have an idea that's good, it works everywhere. Everything works. You can do a webinar on it. You can do a front end on it. You can do a back end on it. You can go back to it. And we've had ideas that work for years.